Hello everyone, and welcome to our AMA 4.2, I suppose. For those who have been with us last week, we did attempt to share all of our latest news with you, but unfortunately, the technology hates us sometimes, and we could only do one thing: is postponing this to get you to connect with us on this day, the very first day of summer in the Northern Hemisphere. And today, with me, as always, I have our amazing CEO, Adrian. Adrian, say hello to the folks.
Hello. Great to be back after only 1 week.
I don't know. I feel good about connecting with people slightly more often than usual. Should we do it like that always? Tease the tease the things a little bit, then just slightly touch upon that, and then say, "Boom, guys! In the next episode, next week."
Yeah, maybe not.
Nah, I'm just kidding, of course. So, last time, before everything gave up on us, we were actually on a very exciting point of the AMA, which was demonstrating how NFTs that you get on Womply can be really rewarding. And we actually stocked up on some pretty random numbers. So, what do we got, Adrian? What do we have in our collection? Let's remind people which NFTs we got.
Yeah, so let me share my screen again because last time we stopped at kind of buying up quite a bunch of NFTs, right? So I hope that you can see my screen. This is what we have. Hang on, that's oh. So that's this one. Hang on, something's wrong. Can't see my own screen. That's kind of weird.
I can assure you that everybody else can see your screen.
Yes, but I can't, like,
Oh.
I don't know where it is.
All right.
Literally, uh, where is it? Like, where? Hang on, that's weird. Ah, there we go. So that's pathetic. Okay, there we go. So last time we bought a few NFTs. That was 8. We wanted actually to buy more, right? And we stopped because somebody dropped out. So because of technical issues. So we've had quite a nice collection here. So there was an Epic, a Trinity here, a Sneaker Boy. We've had a mint number 43 because we couldn't buy a mint number 42, right? Last week when we tried,
Yes. The whole
it was
point was.
it was Cowl Day, and so we're looking for NFT mints 42. So this is where we can proceed today, and then we'll burn all of those, right? So that everyone can see that how burning works and what it does. And so let me quickly get to the market. So for all of you who haven't been on Atomic Hub and haven't traded NFTs yet, we've had quite a bunch of activity starting since, well, yesterday or today, where we launched the first challenge based on NFTs. Rest assured, there are going to be like so many more. But that's the first one where you basically just have to collect as many NFTs, as many Hero Zero NFTs as you can. So let's have a look at what's out on the market, right? So I've ordered them by mint. Oh, look, there's a few mythics out there. They're a little bit too expensive for me to buy. I don't have that much EOS, but look, there's a dog. There's a dog, mint 1 dog for 5 EOS. Let's buy this. I mean, whoever was that lucky, but imagine we're now destroying a mint number one. We're like, we'll be burning a mint number one. So mint number two is going to be the lowest mint of doc. How exciting, isn't that?
I mean, I'm all up for buying up and destroying valuable digital works. But while we're at this in this process, kind of maybe you could explain a little bit what does it exactly do for the whole collection, for the people, and why sort of burning the mint number one matters specifically.
I mean, depends on what people interpret into numbers, right? But in general, let's have a look at this tequila. So that's a mint number 34 out of 1,400, right? So we've minted 1,400 tequilas, which is a common in the first edition of Hero Zero NFTs, right? So in total, we've had 10,000 Hero Zero Edition 1 NFTs that we minted. We've already given out about 6,000 of those, so they're becoming really scarce, like at least the leftovers, right? Yeah, we can see that out of those 1,400 that have been created, 6 have already been burned, right? So there's now not 1,400 tequilas out there anymore. There's only 1,394. And each one that is being burned actually reduces the supply for everybody else. So it makes it rare and therefore, hopefully, in the long run, more valuable because there are simply fewer of those, right? And I mean that's how burning tokens works, right? You have fewer of those. That's why they're becoming more valuable. Yeah, you have something that's out of one out of fewer, right? And I mean, most people really like low mint numbers, right? Because there's only one mint number one, right? And if mint number one doesn't exist anymore, then the mint number two is going to be lowest, and there's not going to be any mint number one anymore, right? And that's kind of fascinating that this is the thing that, like, the one that has been created first, the doc that I just bought, that was the first doc that was minted, and now we're destroying that. It's not going to exist anymore in a few minutes.
And also, just to clarify, burning NFTs does not, it doesn't work like a refund coupon or something. You kind of increase the value of the whole collection by limiting the supply, but it's not like you're going to get EOS back or something.
Well, it could theoretically, but in this case, it doesn't, right? So there is the function on Atomic where you can back NFTs with tokens, and if you burn them, then you'll get those tokens that these NFTs are backed with, right? It's not what we've done so far. So you basically, but that's like in the real world, right? If you have cards, if you have like Pokemon cards, you can obviously destroy them, right? You can burn them, you can throw them out in a bin, you can do whatever you want with them. You're not going to get anything back for destroying them, right? But you can obviously tell that now there's fewer of those. So maybe the remainder becomes more valuable, right? Just like with vintage cars, right? You know that with, I don't know, just pick one, right? An old 68 Ford Mustang, there's been like 300,000 of those at some point, and now like most of them are gone, so there's maybe like 500 left, right? And obviously you can go ahead and crash your 68 Ford Mustang, but that's not what you're going to do typically. But if you do, then everybody else will benefit from that, right? Everybody else will have a car that's more valuable because there's fewer of them out in the world.
And just like with this backing option, if you had insurance on this car, good for you. If you didn't, well.
So, but anyway, there's a mint number 42 Dungeon Master out here, so I'm definitely going to buy this one up because we're still in Hitchhiker's Guide mode, right? So we're buying some more. Let's see. I think there was one more 42. So we're going to buy this one, and then I think we're going to be good. Good to burn, basically, right? So there's another 42. If anybody's watching this live and has a mint number 42, you can put it on the market for a decent price. I may buy it, and we may burn it. Oh look, there's been seven phantoms burned already. So look, and we've only had 25 different NFTs in this edition. And the mythics don't have a mint number 42 because there's only 5 of them each. So there's only been 20 mint number 42s to begin with, and now we're going to be burning 2 of those. So in the Hero Zero Edition 1, there's only going to be 18 mint number 42s left. That's actually quite funny.
We got some, I don't know, Ghostbusters crew in there, burning phantoms.
Is there, like, is the Phantom the one that has been burned the most? Do you happen to know?
Sorry, come again?
Let's check. So we have 4 purple lanterns that have been burned. Not the bundles. And tequilas, we've had 6. I think it's enough to hover. So 4 purple lanterns, 5 angels, 7 phantoms. Yeah, so that's the most burned one, is the phantom. That's very interesting. I wonder why people burnt them, but it's cool. I really like it.
Now that's definitely interesting. Maybe people don't like the design that much. Let us know, guys.
How can you not like the design? I mean, you've been playing the game for at least 5 hours, right?
Exactly. I mean, gotta say, initially when I just started playing Hero Zero myself, I wasn't a fan, really, but I really did learn to love it. Because it's nice and wonky in a good way, and I don't know, it's just pretty cool.
I think it gets more fun the longer you play, right? In the beginning, it's kind of, yeah, okay, what do I do here? But later on, when you have kind of more fights in the game and stuff, and they're more balanced in a way because everybody's stronger. I think that it gets much cooler. Okay, shall we get to burning some of those?
Yes.
Okay, let's burn this number 42 here. By the way, there will be a challenge in the near future, where we will reward you for burning NFTs as well, so that the total supply gets reduced for everyone. And yeah, burning this NFT will destroy it permanently. I understand this and want to burn this NFT. Sure. And obviously, it's so great on EOS or EOS.io how easy it is and how fast these transactions are as compared to like Ethereum, where this kind of thing wouldn't be possible, right?
Yeah, this would take eternity on Ethereum. This is just insane.
So yeah, just I'll go on. I mean, we don't have to kind of watch this. Like we can talk, right?
Let's talk then. So here you go, guys. This is how burning works, and this is what it does. It's essentially something to kind of potentially increase the value of the whole collection. So by burning the NFTs that we don't think you will need in the future, you are essentially doing some great stuff for the entire community, which is, I think, it's a very noble move.
And I mean, yeah, we'll be creating more NFTs, right? So at the same time, we also want to reduce the supply a little bit, right? because we don't want you to kind of end up having only NFTs where there's like hundreds of thousands of those, and they don't have any real value. On the other hand, we'll also be adding more and more and more utility to them on the OnePlay platform. We've been a little bit overwhelmed by kind of how crazy everybody went about these NFTs.
That was insane.
We didn't expect that many to be mined, right? So it's about like 600 of those are going out every single day. And obviously a lot of those are coming to the market. I think that's something that's very interesting, how many people are actually like selling them and how many people are buying them, and it's just crazy, right? And yeah, like I said, there's going to be a lot more challenges and other utilities for those. So keep collecting them. Don't throw them away. Don't burn them purposelessly. Although no, just burn them if you want, right?
Burn the NFTs.
There will be more rewards also for burning NFTs and for trading them and for holding them in different ways and for acquiring them and for like having different collections. And we're working on a lot of things that are like, I'm really excited about this. I would like really love to buy all of them up. Like personally, this is not my personal account, obviously, but I would. I have quite a bunch, and I would like to have even more because I always like. Oh, this is a mint number 7. It's a super low mint on a common, and it's like super cheap. So I'm gonna buy this, right? So if we check the market once more, I think the prices for commons have gone up tremendously already since we launched the challenge. And
Yes.
I think that's they're only gonna become more valuable now because everybody knows that they can use them for good and to earn some more rewards. Yeah, so I like just browsing the market and finding good deals on like cool mint numbers like 1,337. Obviously, that's a really cool number, and things like that, right? So let's check that. I would like one. Maybe there's one. Yeah, I mean, can't refuse a good deal, right?
I mean, that's fair.
Look, there's a mint number 1400. That's a very seldom one, right? So, no, I'll buy that personally. I don't want this with this account. I'll later go and buy that with my private account.
Alrighty.
Everyone will know what my account name is then.
That's a man respecting his privacy. Surely something that many novices in blockchain and crypto could pick up, I suppose.
Well, depends. Maybe somebody will like snatch it away from me, but I hope I'll get it. It's a 1400, right? There's only 5 number 1400s, like because that's the highest mint number. We'll also be doing something with mint numbers, by the way, right? They're good for something, and like I won't tell whether high or low or special mint numbers are going to be better, but there's definitely going to be something about those mint numbers.
See, this is the kind of teasing that I was talking about earlier on.
Marketing. Less facts.
But no, for real, since we started touching upon people's questions already, because a lot of our community members asked what's up with the NFTs, what's the utility aspect of those, how are things going to go with Hero Zero NFTs, or maybe not Hero Zero NFTs. And one of the questions that I find particularly interesting, so we already covered what kind of other challenges will be there. We already mentioned, I think, that there will be bonuses for just collecting those as well within the platform. But can we actually tell yet what kind of NFTs are going to go live on OnePlay next?
Like, we can, but the question is, should we?
I don't know. Should we?
It's gonna be. Nah, I'm not sure. No, let's keep that as a surprise. I like surprising people.
All right then. There was one kind of interesting question, and it didn't come from a community member. It came from another fellow NFT project. But if another project donates NFTs to OnePlay, will we be able to distribute those as rewards?
Definitely. Right now, right, we started with this first type of NFTs, which are game-based. So we have a game-based theme, and we also distribute them based on achievements in the game. Right now, it's playtime, right? So that's 5 hours of playtime in Hero Zero, which makes it even crazier that people are playing this much to mine to get these NFTs. But there will be different ways, right? There will be that we can distribute NFTs based on milestones. That's something that we're going to be doing soon. We'll be distributing NFTs in loot boxes as well. So loot boxes are actually a very good candidate for these kinds of partner NFTs. If you have an NFT project, you don't know how to kind of find people who might like these, we can totally put them in our loot boxes, and people might be happy to actually find one in a loot box, right?
Okay, that's actually something I'm really looking forward to seeing, because there are plenty of NFT projects around, right? EOS is booming with those now. Telos also jumped in on the bandwagon, and I'd really love to see what kind of NFTs will one players love the most, besides the ones that we mint and reward them with. Speaking of rewards, this also came from one of the. No, he is actually a community member as well. But do we ever plan to reward players in Telos, considering how much on the rise this little token is? Or, yeah, this is more like a Wombat question. Let's leave it as it is. Rewards in Telos on OnePlay.
Why not?
Do you think this would be technically difficult? Because by default, we're kind of just routing the rewards to people's EOS accounts, right? So there should be an option for them to choose, I suppose.
Either that, or we have different challenges, and we would have to create a Telos account for you. But that's all technically that's not a problem for us. It's more a matter of how easily understandable these things are, especially to users who are new, right? So it's more of a presentation issue than kind of a technical issue, so that we make sure that everybody really knows what to do with their tokens, what they can do, right? So yeah, maybe in the end, an option to cash out in Telos maybe, or Telos tokens maybe the best, but that also slightly depends on how much interest in that we have, because as usual, we have so many things on our roadmap that we have to set priorities, and yeah, that is now one item on the on the roadmap. We can totally do that.
That sure is very comforting for this person to know. Speaking of the plans, and we'll get back to the roadmap aspect in a couple of minutes, but that's another interesting question from a community member. Will OnePlay ever become a standalone app?
I wish. I wish. There's a general problem that app stores don't like app stores underneath them, right? So they generally don't like stores in stores. Specifically, Apple doesn't like that. So there will not be any app that lets you download games from the App Store through this other app. So on iOS, we don't have a chance. And that's the main reason why we're web-based, right? Because we want to give iOS users the possibility to use OnePlay as well. And that's the main reason why why we designed it like that. Speaking of Android, there is a possibility of launching this as an Android app. That's something we all also have on the roadmap. We're currently trying to figure out how to technically best do this, right? So that we can keep the experience very, very up to date for everybody, while actually offering kind of a standalone app. Because I understand that this is going to be much more convenient for many people to use. So we're currently trying to figure out what the best technical solution for that would be.
Alrighty. But yeah, you mentioned the roadmap, and I think that this is probably one of the most popular topics within our community. Everyone is eager to know what we're planning next. And I mean, with the kind of pace we're dealing with here, it's just crazy to even try to think a month ahead because things are developing so rapidly. It's insane. But still, let's give people something. What do we want to achieve, release, or maybe showcase within, let's say, the next half a year or so?
Oh my goodness, half a year?
Yes. I mean, this is specifically how the question was formulated. Don't blame the messenger.
So, I mean, we're now obviously shifting a few of our priorities towards NFTs more, right? Because everybody is not everybody, but many people are going crazy about them. So we'll be adding more games. We have at least four other games in the pipeline for NFTs. We'll be adding OnePlay related, not one. How do I say that? Our own NFTs that are for OnePlay. They are not game related, right? So that's going to be a thing, and then we'll be adding more features to them, right? So that you can actually play with them on the OnePlay platform. So that's something that's very, very important to us, so that they don't become boring, right? You can actually do something with them all the time. So that's going to keep us busy for a long time on the one hand, right? Because there's so many things that we have in mind that we can do. There's going to be teams. There's going to be we don't even have a name for that yet, but there's going to be leaderboards and weekly tasks for things, and all related to NFTs and all related to Hero Zero and other game NFTs, but also the NFTs that we're planning for our platform. So that's going to keep us busy for at least a few more months, right? At the same time, we're planning kind of a first larger UX rehaul to make the platform OnePlay more easily understandable. But that's going to be kind of more of a ongoing thing, right? So we want to make it as easy as possible for everyone to find the things that they want to find. So we're currently eagerly working on a lot of smaller and bigger UX improvements, and we hope that you're going to like them. And we really appreciate. We will, as usual, really appreciate any feedback regarding whether you think that's actually an improvement, or what else you would be missing in terms of user experience, what kind of additional features you would like, how we could make onboarding even easier, because we want to make OnePlay and Wombat as easily experienceable. Is that even a word? I don't know. As possible, so that as many people as possible can actually start playing games and earn their first crypto, earn their first NFTs. We've had so much feedback, right, Olga?
Tons of it, really.
were like earning their first ever NFT through OnePlay by playing Hero Zero. That's actually amazing because we can now bring this entire world to all of you and to many hundreds of thousands and millions of other people out there, which we're like really proud of because we're their first ever experience with NFTs. And there's like this huge world of things that we can do with NFTs, right? And that they're just so amazing, and we're just at the very, very beginning of things, right? There will be so many features to NFTs themselves, what you can do with them, that you can merge them, break them up, back them. Maybe they're going to become more valuable the more they get used, right? So all these kinds of things. These are things that we plan, and now we have to like put some more priority on that because all of you have shown us that you really like NFTs, and that's what we want to react on. On the other hand, we have a bunch of technical things that we also want to cover. We have Ethereum support incoming quite soon. We don't want to kind of put out the effective date yet. There will be a big announcement around this, but just so you have a teaser for this. So there's obviously an entire rabbit hole full of things that come with integrating other blockchains, because then you also have all these applications and assets and tokens that you want to be able to swap and so on, right? So there's like so many things that are related to other blockchains as well that we want to cover. That's going to be another thing that we're going to be covering especially on the Wombat side, but potentially also on OnePlay if, for instance, if there is another blockchain that we use and another NFT standard, maybe, then we could be handing out NFTs in this standard and so on, right? And at the same time, we want to make it easier for game creators to issue NFTs and to get into this world as well. So we're offering our infrastructure here because we have a lot of the things that are needed to bring out NFTs to a lot of users. And so this is also planned for the next 6 months that we're going to be, we already have that, right? We're already offering this, but so that game developers and game studios and publishers have a way of issuing their NFTs themselves, not through OnePlay, where we do that kind of, but where they can do that themselves and offer these NFTs to their gamers. So I guess that's quite a bunch of huge things.
It is indeed.
It's a lot of stuff that we want to kind of squeeze into this year. So fingers crossed that we can actually make it. But so that's kind of the plan for the next 6 months.
So to sum it all up, our plan is to make a bunch of awesome things easy for everyone.
That's what we've always been doing, right?
Exactly. Couldn't say it better myself. But speaking of other blockchains, that has also been a particularly popular question. When wax?
When wax? I keep hearing that. We should do that. Yeah. So once we're done with Ethereum, we'll do wax. Promise.
Well, that's it. You heard it here first. Would you also see some wax projects integrated with OnePlay, like Cogs or those? God, I'm so terrible with names. With the kids round the block, or what's the name?
Garbage Packets?
Yes.
Why not? As soon as wax is very, very similar to EOS, right? It's a kind of a sister chain based on the same EOS.io technology. So a lot of things work pretty much the same on wax. And NFTs are really big, and everybody's going crazy about NFTs on wax. So we would be stupid to not offer wax support, right? What shall I say? It's on the roadmap. We have to do things one by one, and we're going to do wax. And yes, if anybody wants to drop some NFTs, some wax NFTs, or if games are eager to be listed on OnePlay, like specifically games that are using wax, then there's obviously a lot of things that we can do, right? So I guess we're going to be talking to all the game builders on wax and the other creators on wax very, very soon when it comes to partnerships and listings.
That is going to be an exciting moment for sure. Well, that's pretty much it with the pre-sent questions. Thanks everyone who stayed with us so far. We are finally moving on to the questions from the chat from you guys. So, let's pick an interesting one. Oh, this is a nice one. So
I guess they're all.
Oh, yeah, but this is also kind of like an, I wouldn't exactly call it an educational opportunity for enlightenment. Let's put it like this. Those NFTs that people earn on OnePlay, are they or will they ever be usable in the games themselves, like giving permanent buffs or something like that?
Yeah, not sure about that, to be honest. That would be really cool, but I mean, we would have to convince EGG and Playata of that, right? And I mean, maybe at some point the pressure is going to be so high because everybody has those NFTs and they will like to use them. But there's a lot of things that are related to that, like for instance, does Apple like that, right? And right now the answer again is no. Apple typically doesn't like that. So these things have to be considered, right? When it comes to NFTs, like usability of these kinds of NFTs in the game. There will sure be some NFTs that will be usable in some games and that will be related to, well, OnePlay or Wombat or both in the near future. But with the games and the NFTs that we already have, I'm a bit skeptical about that because of the way that's been set up.
Yep, Apple is definitely spoiling a lot of things for us, doesn't it?
We're working with them, not against them, right?
Are they aware about that? That we're working with them? Are they working with us? It's a question.
I think they care very little about people like us and many crypto folks. They wouldn't be applying their policies if they would care.
Sad but true. Sad but true. And the same community member has another pretty interesting question. Will we list a game if a lot of people request it?
Depends on whether they request it with us or with the publisher, right? Because we're dependent on the publishers or the game creators to actually grant access to kind of the milestones, for instance, that we get, right? They're all anonymized, but we need that kind of feedback from the game. If we don't get that, there's nothing we can do, right? And also we can't just list a game. We have to agree with them that we can list it, right? So if there's a game that you really, really want, you should actually reach out to the publisher of the game. That's like there's typically like two companies involved in creating a game and then selling it. That's the publisher who's basically marketing the game, and there's the game developers. And if that's an indie, then well, it's the same company, right? But if you look in the Play Store or App Store, kind of who's listed as the company distributing this app or this game, then just send them an email to their support or whatever. If you know them, if you have any contacts there, find people on LinkedIn, send them emails and messages that they should be listed on OnePlay. And if ever they reach out to us or if ever we get a contact with them, then we'll happily list those games, right? But it's typically not dependent on us. It's dependent on on a lot of things, including the game publishers or game makers. But I'd be super curious about kind of that kind of community vote where we have a few hundred or a few thousand people from the OnePlay community sending an email or a message to, I don't know, like Activision Blizzard or
That
wherever,
would be the day.
saying, okay, we want this game listed on OnePlay. We really want it.
Okay, this person is on fire today, honestly. This is another good one. Have we ever considered or have we ever envisioned OnePlay as an app store of sorts, as Play Store, but with the games integrated with blockchain? So is this ever going to be kind of a focus or a twist to OnePlay, maybe?
As a long-term vision, that could be a possibility, actually, right? That game or publishers or app makers can actually self-service list their apps there, and based on certain parameters, we would be giving out certain rewards. That could be a total possibility in the future, right? It's a bit of a pain to get this kind of store distributed, really. Like I said earlier, on iOS, it's virtually impossible. On Android, that is a possibility. I mean, we could even go as far as having our own Android distribution, just like many, for instance, Chinese phone makers do, right? That they have their own Android distribution, and that comes with their own app store, their own Play Store, kind of like Huawei.
Yep, Oppo.
That could be a possibility as well, but I'm not sure whether that's going to happen within the next 3 or 4 years, right? That's going to be a long-term thing. But as long as everybody keeps playing, we might have a chance.
I mean, it's the Google who stole our entire idea with rewarding people for playing, right? So it will only be fair if we get back at them.
We've been there before.
Exactly, those pathetic copycats.
But I mean, getting these points is not as cool as getting crypto or NFTs, right? I mean, those points are good. And the cool thing is that you actually get them on top of what you get from OnePlay, right? So if you actually make a purchase in a game, then you get those Google Play points on top of what you get in OnePlay. And with OnePlay, you don't even have to spend money in the game to get these points, to get Wombats, to get rewards, to get NFTs, right? You just have to play.
Exactly. So maybe we should also point this out to Google that we are working with them and not against them as well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, with Google, it's actually a bit, it has been a bit easier, and they actually kind of like us now.
Oh, that's pretty encouraging. Do tell.
I mean, it's not like Google is just this one monolith where everybody likes you or everybody hates you, right? But there is a part of Google that actually kind of started liking us, despite being in blockchain and crypto and all these evil things.
I mean, in all the fairness, we were Google Cloud's gateway to blockchain in the first place. So
True.
would be odd if they didn't like us. Well, on that note of boasting our own egos, it looks like we ran out of questions in the chat, which means it's time for a wrap. Thanks a lot, everyone, for joining us. Be on the lookout for the next AMA, and for those who were unable to make it today and would rather read, there will also be a text version available in our blog soon. Take care, stay safe, and we love you all.
Have a good rest of the week. Goodbye.
Bye-bye, everyone.